considering I'm in Sydney. We're in different hemispheres. Great to meet you, Militia Vox.
Great to meet you, Shane. Thanks for having me.
Look, it's been a bit of a fanboy of yours, not just because of Judas Priestess, but in general, your look, your style, your voice, some of the other things that you've done solo. How do you maintain that voice? It's pretty epic.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, it was a lot of trial and error over the years. You kind of have to learn what not to do before you start doing the right thing, I think. So,
Right.
um, I'd say hydration is key. You got to
Yeah.
stay hydrated and, like just don't be stupid. If you taste blood, you're probably not singing correctly.
Ooh,
Uh,
has that happened?
of course, yeah. It's called vocal
Wow.
hemorrhaging. I mean, your
Mm,
vocal cords are it's soft tissue and muscle.
yeah.
Um, so it can get injured like other parts of the body. So you just have to, go gentle, and not try to like overcompensate for certain sound systems or whatever, or
Yeah.
try to scream over guitars, you
No.
know. If it's amplified correctly, everyone should be heard. But where like hearing protection, all kinds of stuff like that will help.
What about alcohol? Because back in the day, I mean, even now, singers can just be on the bottle during concerts or before recording. Is that something you've ever done or just don't do ever?
I think it's different per singer. Some
Mm,
singers need that to get them to the place
yeah, that's what I
where they
thought.
feel open. But it shouldn't be any surprise that singers are kind of orally fixated.
Yeah, I love
You
that.
know?
I'm quoting that. Thank you.
It's so true though, it's like that's why I don't know, like some singers have their thing is food, or some people it's alcohol, or some people it's smoking or whatever. Just
Mm,
like that hand to mouth action is just a
mm.
constant thing. Um, so I think like I don't know, for me, I don't need alcohol to get me to the place.
Mm.
And there are some singers that do. It's just to each their own, but alcohol is very drying. So it's like if you dry your chords out, then it's just not going to sound the same. But if you
No.
like the sound of that and that's your form of communication, then sure. But it's just not going to hold up very long.
When it comes to Judas Priestess, what happened? Like, did they come to you? Did you know the band already? How did you score, to be part of that legendary band, cover band?
Um, so I heard about them taking shape.
Yeah.
And an ex-boyfriend of mine was like, "Oh, did you hear there's this all-girl Judas Priest tribute forming and they're looking for a singer?" And like, I'll admit it, I thought what everyone else would think, like, "Oh, they probably suck. Oh, they're probably just playing the hits. They're not playing anything heavy,
Mm.
da 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 da." And he was just like, "Well, what if they don't suck? And then you're gonna be hating the girl that gets the gig." And I was like, touche. So I might as well go and figure out what their deal is. So it was just an instant connection when I walked into the room. We all knew we had found each other. I mean, it was
That's
instant.
that's pretty
Yeah,
amazing that it was so instant. I mean,
it
I don't know
was.
how old you are, but they've been around a lot longer than you, I would assume. And you knew their music? Did you just step in and you were part of that world straight away, or did you study up on them?
Well, I had heard of Judas Priest initially. Oh God, because like I missed it when they were in their prime per se.
Yeah, yeah,
I hate
yeah.
peak. I hate that term peak because I feel like they're with each album you're always peaking. So like,
Yeah.
it's an unfair assessment. But when I was in school, I remember seeing like Beavis and Butthead, and they were watching Breaking the Law, the music video. That's what my introduction to Priest was, Beavis and Butthead. But it
Oh
just
man.
didn't really make the connection because it was like such a parody or like a joke, you know? So I didn't really get to like fully appreciate who they were and like their discography or their legacy or anything. Like it did not compute yet. So the first time that the connection was made was, do you remember back in the day, there was this like music delivery service called Columbia House?
We didn't have it in Australia, but I am aware of it. Yes.
So, like, for those that don't know, Columbia House was a music delivery service where you could purchase like a collection of albums for like a
Yeah.
penny, and they roped you into some weird subscription situation that everyone, you know, defaulted on, and that's why they're no longer with us. Um, but I blame them for being the first to like make recorded music like be so cheap. So they were
Yeah.
the first company to devalue it, not Napster. So everyone took advantage of this system,
Mm,
including myself.
mm,
And I remember getting 5 albums for a penny, and the 5 CDs I got, I would always try to include like a wild card, like something I
mm.
didn't really know about, or something that maybe I like the band name, or I like the album cover, or I like the
Nice.
song title, something like that.
Yeah.
So like I saw this this excerpt for British Steel, you know, Judas Priest, and it had the logo with the razor on it. And I was like, okay, whatever that is, that definitely does not suck. So I'm going to get that and see what that sounds like. And so I remember getting the album and like putting it on my CD player and just being like blown away at the jump, like the
Mm.
first opening notes of British Steel. I remember just being like, holy shit, like where has this been all my life? So that's my introductory to Judas Priest.
Well, I remember like reading a music magazine, and they'd have like all the covers of the albums, and you could send away and get three for like, I don't know, $20 or something. It was
Uh-huh.
along those lines. So it was a different sort of setup to what you're saying, but similar in some ways.
Uh-huh.
You would just get something from an album cover most of the time if you didn't know the band.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing the name Judas Priest, thinking that that was the most badass name I'd ever heard in my life. And me being like a Catholic school girl, a product of all girls Catholic schools, it was like
Right.
the most rebellious name I ever heard.
Wow.
So I was on board.
It sounds like it didn't take much influencing to get where you are. I mean, I'm so stoked for you, your success, and you're coming down under to Australia. And you know, what is it? Your first visit? Have you been here before, or is this like
It is my very first visit.
your debut?
Yep. So I have a list, a bucket list of things that I must accomplish while I am in your country.
Okay, well, I surf. I'm a surfer, although it'll be too cold probably. But can you surf?
No, but I have dreams that I'm surfing often. So if I dream it, that means I could be.
Hopefully good dreams, because you can either drown or you can get attacked by a shark. That's two things that you probably don't want to happen.
Well, I mean, it would be worth it, right, for the story. Right? No, no, we're gonna stay alive while we're in Australia.
Yeah, good. What else is on your bucket list? Any like one or two things that are at the top or a highlight for you?
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to go to the Opera House in Sydney.
Yeah,
Um, I want to hold a koala bear.
right.
Okay. I would love to see some kangaroos. I don't need
Yeah,
to hold them though.
no,
Um, I would like to do an AC/DC or Bon Scott thing,
oh,
even though we're
great.
not getting over to Perth on this trip, but I would
Yeah.
like to do an AC/DC thing. I hear that you guys have a Bon Scott like commemorative coin. I would like to go home with that if possible. Um,
Good luck. They're pretty
Good
rare.
luck.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. And I would like to have a Vegemite sandwich.
Ah, okay. Well, that's a pretty decent list, and I'm sure by the time you arrive or when you're here, there'll be a few other things that'll come to mind. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I want to swim in the Great Barrier Reef.
Nice. Well, trust me, I've done that, and it's one of the greatest things you can do. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, we're all like nature appreciators in this band.
Oh, good. Okay.
So it's so funny when like people approach us while we're on tour and they're just like, "Hey, do you want some drugs, man?" And we're like, "No, but do you have a dog? We'd like to pet your dog."
Oh, classic. Uh, Now, being part of this band, is it a challenge to satisfy the diehard Judas Priest fans, or have they come on board, or do you find that it takes a while? What? How do you find? Do they combine, or you got separate fans?
Um, no, we earned our name and like we earned
Mm,
our respect because
mm.
we've been around for a minute. But when
Yeah.
we were first starting, we got hate mail before we even played our first show.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like people were very skeptical. People were kind of aggressive about it too, to some degree, because, that's how like metalheads are. We're a little aggressive. So it's like, okay. And we take our music very seriously. I mean, music's our religion. So it's like, okay, like they were thinking the same thing I was thinking when I saw that they were looking for a singer. Right.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay. So it's like some instant haters. But then we've gone the distance and some of those haters have showed up at our shows and been pleasantly surprised, so that's cool. Or maybe there's people that still hate us but they're not as vocal about it anymore, and they're definitely not saying anything now since I'm the only artist to have a duet with the person I tributed.
Yeah.
So like I have a duet with Rob Halford, so there's literally nothing else anyone can say past that.
I'm really stoked for you in that sense, because you've done the hard yards and you've worked so triumphantly to get to where you are, and to be accepted by the band themselves is a big deal. So congratulations on the duet as well.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a dream come true, but I always knew it would happen.
How do you maintain, you told me about your voice, but your style? You have a particular look which is pretty outstanding and illuminating in my own opinion. But how do you, like, do you just look good all the time, or is there, what do you wear?
I don't know. Do I?
Do you choose your own costumes?
Um, uh, they're not even like costume pieces. They're all like pieces from my wardrobe, like in general.
Oh, that's
Um,
even better. That's awesome.
yeah, but like some of the things I got are custom pieces that I really wanted to, um, I wanted to embody, my metal goddess, aura. Like I wanted to, like, say you watched a show, Judas Priest's show with the sound off, just
Yeah.
based off how I'm dressed, it should say what I'm talking about or what I'm
Yeah.
singing about. So one of my neighbors, she was on Project Runway. I was just like, yo, can you make me like a super studded vest and like make me like a sleeve with like studs and spikes going down the arm? She's like, yeah. And that's what you get when you live in New York. You get a lot of creative people around you,
Oh yeah.
especially fashion people that can make your fashion dreams come true.
Well, yeah, that's it. Use your friends, tap into those resources, and that's good to hear that Project Runway, you've got a direct line.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was cool. No, she definitely made the look come to life for me,
And
because I've
I
got these
mean,
custom pieces that no one
oh,
else had.
it
Yeah.
look, anything I've ever seen you in looks perfect and outstanding and suitable for what you're doing. And does that, what about your hair and your eyes and everything else? Like that all goes with it. Like, is there any work done there? I mean, your own makeup, because you've just
I just do my
pinpointed
own makeup.
the style.
Mhm. It's just, yeah.
Well,
I like a smoky eye.
it works.
I always make sure that I'm wearing very sharp stiletto nails when I'm
Right.
on stage because I think when you hold a microphone, it just looks better.
And
Plus,
then
it should look
you can do that.
sharp, like it's spikes. Yeah, yeah.
You've got it all worked out. Now, off air, we talked a little bit about John Waters, which I want to get to shortly. But firstly, you've done some acting, and it's something that it's your career sort of has been part of already. musical theatre, so to speak, and you're in a movie coming out soon, Elegy of a Vampire. How did that come about, and when can we expect to see it?
That's a great question.
You don't
It
know.
all comes down to the budget, the arts, the life and the arts. It
Yeah.
comes down to budget. But I've been very lucky that I'm able to support myself as an artist full time. I don't work any other jobs. Everything is like a creative input and output situation for me. And I live in one of the most expensive cities on the planet, and I'm able to do my
Yeah.
work without selling my soul. So that's good. And more people can do it too if they're willing to take the risk.
Right.
Um, I do a lot of work with music advocacy. I'm in the
Okay.
Recording Academy. I
Yep.
just got elected chapter governor of New York in the Recording Academy. So I'm one of the district advocates and
Oh,
people that
that's
fight
so good.
for songwriters' rights and fight for fair pay, fight for, fix the ticks, against Live Nation and Ticketmaster. Like, these are all things that I'm working on when I'm not on stage, just to make our music landscape a better place, which it's like we're way overdue to have
Yeah.
justice for songwriters and performers and things like that. So it's always a work in progress because there's like no protections because we have no union.
Yeah.
And Recording Academy is the closest thing we have to a union. I'm actually the first person from the metal community to be elected chapter governor. So like, this is a huge honor that I take very seriously, and I'm doing my damnedest to make sure that we have, financial stability, in the future, and that,
Yeah.
younger people can start in this business and not have to worry about so many survival jobs or things like that. They can actually make a living from their music. So it's a priority.
You're a trailblazer. There's more to you than meets the eyes. Honestly, congratulations. And to be an advocate for that, it's so important because little details can get overlooked in the music industry and people can take advantage of that. So
They
keep
do.
keep up the good work.
Thank you. We're trying. I mean, it's such an uphill battle because people have gotten used to music being free. They've been like
Yeah.
brainwashed thinking music is free. When I can tell you for sure, it definitely is not free to make music. I just dropped an insane amount of money on my latest singles, but that's what you have to do because those songs are going to outlive me. So it's like I have to, those are my kids. I
Yeah.
have my music and I have my chihuahua as far as my my legacy to contributing to heavy music. And I
Yeah.
just really dead set on making music that I think is going to inspire people and make them feel good or make them, fight harder or be more triumphant and all those things. I want it to be empowering and, I think people throw around the word trailblazer a lot. Not
Yeah.
saying you do, but I'm saying people do.
Sure.
But I think the most important part of it is when you are kind of carving your own path as not just a creative, but just as a human,
Yeah.
it's it can create such a domino effect where other people will look at what you did and then that will
Mm.
uh, inspire them to raise their frequency. So like it's always important that, if you got a story inside you, you got to get it out. I think it was Maya
Oh yeah.
Angelou that like one of the worst crimes or one of the worst fates is to die with untold stories inside of you.
Mm.
That's a real thing. I
Yeah.
think people get caught up in the rat race and then they forget what makes them feel great.
Yeah, trailblazing or trailblazer can get thrown around, but I think I'm happy saying that you're that in your position and empowered as well, and you're doing something about it, which you're not just sitting around. So keep up the great work.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And also, like, most people don't even know, but I've been making original music since 1997.
Yes.
People don't know that. But
Yes.
yeah, if any of you listening or watching feel inspired to like dive into my rabbit hole, there's a whole world of stuff that you can check out that hopefully it'll make you feel some kind of way. So
Yeah, no, I highly recommend it. Doing a deep dive on yourself. Anyone hasn't really heard your music, go back to some of the beginnings, some of the experimental stuff you've done hasn't differed that much, but you know, you've definitely matured, and you know, you got a long way ahead of you. Yeah, your career's only just beginning, right?
thank you. I feel like it kind of is like now. I actually have some singles that are about to drop soon. Where I did a really cool one of them. I did a really cool collab with some legends. So
Okay.
I'm excited for you guys to hear that. I'll fuck it. I'm independent. I can say who it is. Corey Glover from Living Color and I finally recorded a
Yep.
duet together. We've been talking about doing it for years. It's finally coming out, and it kicks
Good.
so much ass. Like this will. I hope it makes you feel as good as it makes me feel when I listen to it, because it's a really sick duet. We got Vernon Reed from Living Colors playing guitar on it, and Nuno Betancourt from Extreme is
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
guitar, and it's just a ass song.
Well, thank you for the exclusive. I'm stoked. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, it's gonna be
Okay,
awesome.
I'm aware of time, but I need to ask you, you're a New York City girl now, but Baltimore is where you grew up. Is this correct? And you have a connection with a very famous Baltimore individual that's not with us anymore, but you know, John Walters, Link.
Oh yeah, I share a birthday with Divine, but I thought the way you set it up, I thought maybe you were saying I have a connection with Edgar Allan Poe, because I do have a connection. No
Well,
joke. He's
there's, yeah,
also Baltimore's most famous dead person. He's buried in Baltimore.
yeah, right. There's such a huge history in Baltimore. Uh, I
Yeah.
I know Baltimore only from John Waters and his many movies growing up, and just watching him on DVD and so forth. Such a fan. And
Best.
you
Okay, me
could,
too.
I think your style, you know, you could end up being in a John Waters movie or something one day. You should get on
I would
that.
love to be. I think he's the greatest. I mean, there's just no one like him. And in Baltimore, like I remember growing up, like going to see a John Waters movie at the theater was like it was a real event. It was like such a
Yeah.
party, and like you would know where all the locations were, and it was just like it was just really cool. Some of my friends were in Serial Mom.
Oh, love
Um,
it. Love it. That's like in my
yeah,
top three John
yeah, you
Waters.
remember that the scene at the end with in Hammerjacks with
Yeah.
L7 as Camel Lips?
Oh, L7. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are like my girls. Actually, there's a video online of Judas Priestess at the Whiskey A Go Go, and L7 joined us on stage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's on YouTube. So check that out for sure. And then I'm close with Jennifer Finch is probably like my
Yep.
one of my closest friends, and I'm singing on her album that's coming out soon. So definitely look out for that.
Well, L7 are regulars down at under, like they tour here
Yeah,
every few years. So I'm glad that
yeah,
you're now going to be part of that.
sure, yeah. I mean, those are my girls. I love them dearly.
Well, to wrap it up, tell me, what can people expect if they're going to come to your show, Judas Priestess? What can they expect? Deep dives, all the hits, I'm assuming, but some deep dives. Is each show going to be different? Set list? Can you describe
Yeah,
it
we
for me?
like to throw some curveballs in there. We obviously have to play like the hits that people love and want to hear.
Yeah.
Um, but one of the great things about Judas Priestess is that we play songs that Judas Priest has never performed live. So there's a
Okay.
lot of cuts in there that people get really stoked to hear, and there's other people who would hear a deep cut and go, "I don't remember that at all," and that's fine. We try to give everybody a little bit of everything, and also we kind of like do this thing where, we've really made it our own, and we've given this catalog a very feminine energy, or what I call very ferociously feminine energy. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's very New York. There's an edge to it. It's really
Yeah.
sharp, but it's just like, it's dangerous, it's exciting, and it's super female feeling. So it's very empowering. So bring your wives, bring your daughters, they'll love it. I mean, what's more exciting than to see like five girls up there just shredding it out?
Yeah, totally, totally. I mean, uh, times have changed, but you know, I think female empowerment and acceptance is so important. And
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know if you've ever had any hurdles throughout your career, but I would assume that many more doors have opened over the years.
Well, I think the key thing is accountability.
Yeah.
I think, like, you know, because I've had my share of Me Too moments throughout my career, but
Okay.
now people have to be more accountable because of social media. So the playing field's a little bit more leveled, isn't it? So yeah, so with that in mind, I think people aren't as risk taking in with inappropriateness as they used to be,
Yeah,
as far as, I mean,
it's
people are
sad.
still pretty inappropriate, but you
It's
know,
quite
it's
sad
okay.
because there's probably predators out there thinking about it, but they are more aware of being caught. So it's never ending.
Yeah, but I also think, like, you know, as evil as social media is, it's phenomenal because
Mm,
someone like me who's independent can talk to someone like you on the other side of the planet,
mm,
you know, and connect in this way. And then, like, you can check me out, I can check you out. I don't have to go through
yeah,
doors to get my message out there, or for you to broadcast messages or get your message out there. It's just more direct, and it's just more.
yeah.
So it's a good thing.
Oh, you know what? This is very early in the morning for me, and it doesn't get much better than this. My day is complete. Thank you for the conversation.
Hey, all right, I love it. Have the